singing this song. Now, this is what we're going to do. We have some volunteers that kind of worked with us very briefly this morning for what, like 3 minutes? All right, come on up, y'all. Okay, now, just so you know, this group of your classmates, they don't really know what's going on, okay? So just so you know, we're kind of doing an improvised performance, and you all too will be able to have an experience during this week. We're going to do things like this. This is called a contastoria, which is like ancient television, all right? It's the beginning of comic books. It's got a whole history. We won't get into it, but it's ancient. There used to be stories about gods and goddesses in India coming together, and there would be, at night, people would tell the tales. Well, it's like your modern, this is like your ancient PowerPoint, essentially. You guys know PowerPoint, right? Yeah. Television. Well, this is something you can do yourself. All right, so, painted on cloth, we're just going to go for it. And these courageous people here are just going to go with the flow. We'll see what happens. All right, are we ready? And remember our song. It's going to happen right after this page. Here we go. We now present to you Chicken and Earmuffs! Fox went out on a snowy night, waited for the moon to give him light. Many a mile to go that night before he reached the town. Many a mile to go that night before he reached the town. Excellent. Let me introduce to you Mr. Man. Mr. Man went out on a snowy night. Mr. Man was a hunter, and he had a very fine family. Ready for the moon to give him light. Now, we also introduce to you Mr. Fox. Mr. Fox went out on a snowy night. Mr. Fox was also a hunter, and he had a very fine family. Ready for the moon to give him light. One day, a giant snowstorm came into town. Many a mile to go that night before he reached the town. Many a mile to go that night before he reached the town. Now, the snowstorm came to Mr. Man's house, and his children cried, "We have cold ears!" And Mr. Man replied, "Don't worry, kids.